Hey all you nerds, Gabe aka Froopy Art here, and welcome back to our Gravity Falls and Cryptid-inspired Pokemon region. In the previous episode, you ran after a kidnapped Sandy with Cordelia's help, but lost them in the spooky woods, and now you're tracking down her ex-boyfriend for help.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, there should be a Poke Center that's still open over here. We may want to heal up before we deal with Valentino.
Sure enough, as you pass through the last bit of fog, you see two buildings next to one another. There's a dilapidated store further on, with cracked windows and glowing with moody lighting, but next to it is a bright and cheery Poke Center manned by an eagerly waving attendant.
Yo, what a do? We don't get many folk out here. Just Valentino who be straight up soaking in the store next door.
Yeah, unfortunately we're here to see him.
Let me heal up your Pokemon for you, dog.
Thanks, dog.
You leave the hip Pokemon attendant and enter the creepy abandoned store. Having only met Valentino once before, you immediately understand why he likes this place. It is filled with dark and cool clothing and various accessories.
Valentino, where you at? I know you're in here.
Cordy, is that you? Did you come to take me back?
No, man. We went on one date and it didn't work. We're not a thing.
Oh, you probably just came because you heard that I found this, and you just want to take it. Just like you stole my heart.
What? No, that's not why we're here. But, I mean, yeah, I guess we want that too.
Well, what do you want then?
Our friend Sandy got captured by some of those Cypher Squad goons and took her out into the fog around here. We were hoping you could help us find her since you basically live out here.
Well, I mean, I am pretty tough. I could probably take care of those Cypher losers for you, but I don't actually know how to get around that well.
What do you mean? You're always out here, aren't you?
Yeah, but I just have the Poke Center guy give me a ride out here. I'm not crazy enough to walk out there alone.
Ugh! What good are you? Just give us the device component then.
What? No! I won't let you take literally everything from me.
Fine. I'll just battle you and take it.
No way. I can't fight you. You're like my love.
Cordelia facepalms, sighs, and looks over to you.
You want to beat this useless idiot for me real fast so we can be on our way?
You happily agree and challenge Valentino. Unfortunately, he isn't quite the pushover that he initially seemed. He leads with a little bitty bat. It's not too tough, but Valentino's next Pokemon is its evolution. Okay, so quick reminder, while Bitty Bat has more of a general vampire vibe, the rest of this line is going to be based on the Manananggal, which is a particularly horrifying flying torso monster. It's pretty messed up. We're going to get part of the way there with this design, though we're not going to let it fully separate yet. Instead, we're going to do this as a cutesy and Pokemon-y take on it. So instead of super gruesome entrails, we get this little spring between the two halves. It hides the yuckiness of the inspiration and also lets it spring up into the air. And just to play with the fact that it is torn in half, it will gain the ghost typing. I like that this line, it's doing its best not to become an actual dark type. I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous, but I like it. Okay, let's go ahead and meet Springut, the spring bat Pokemon. When exposed to a Reaper Cloth, a Bitty Bat is so conflicted by its spooky typing that it is literally torn apart during its evolution. Springut have accepted their role as ambush predators, contracting their coiled body and springing out to surprise their prey. Luckily, they haven't given into their ghostly side completely and still care for their trainers immensely. Its ability is Strong Jaw, which powers up biting moves, and the hidden ability is Infiltrator. It bounces and flutters around the battlefield, constantly biting at your team, but you eventually take it down. Next up, Valentino sends out a Detroke. which keeps avoiding your attacks with substitutes, but eventually you whittle away until it also faints. Now, though Valentino is a Dark-type specialist, I like that he's using some wild cards, and next up, we have the evolution to the ever-hungry Ice-type Nombomble. This 3-stage line is based on the Chenoo and other cold climate folklore from the First Nations. Now, the Chenoo is very interesting as it is said to have a literal burning hunger that takes over its body and kind of starts to burn it up. So this gets us an actually justified ice and fire type. Wanting to sprinkle in just a dash of Yeti, this guy also feels a little bit like the Rankin and Bass stop motion abominable snowman. I think that's fun. I worked in some swirls around the eyes and the belly button to show how this Pokemon is starting to lose control. And the mist that comes out of the mouth and on top of the head helps subtly break up the silhouette. Yeah, I think this works very well. Okay, let's meet Nombomble, the hungry Pokemon. The hunger that Nombomble once had has grown in intensity, and now fire relentlessly burns in its stomach. Nombomble have great difficulty focusing on anything that isn't food, and they can be quite difficult to train. Letting out blasts of icy mist 1 second and superheated air the next, this Pokemon can be quite dangerous. The ability is still Gluttony, so that lets it eat berries sooner, with the hidden ability being Immunity. The Ice and Fire typing is completely unexpected, but Nombomble does have plenty of Dark-type attacks to launch at you. After avoiding its hungry chomps, you shut it down, and Valentino is forced to send out his last Pokemon. Remember that tiny Rapid he got way back when? Well, that turned into a Hoaxian Trubbish, and now it's time for our Garbodor. Continuing the Gravity Falls Summerween motif, it's time for the Summerween Trickster. I try not to have too many Pokemon that are just, direct Gravity Falls parallels, but I love the Summerween Trickster episode, and Garbodor needs some love. I also think it's, just hilarious to have it up on these two weird tall legs, kind of like Alolan Executor. They're both just tall and strange. Now, its body is still candy, but playing with the, torn wrapper bag look, we get something that feels like the Trickster's hat and tattered coat, and matching Garbodor's arms with black licorice. We still get the same look of that, and candy corn in the teeth. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Okay, let's check out Hoaxian Garbodor, the trash heap Pokemon. Unlike its slow-moving Unovan counterpart, the Hoaxian variant of Garbodor has sprouted long legs made of old discarded candy. While much of its body is comprised of less than desirable sweets, it does hold on to some delicious candy that it gives to anyone who enjoys its playful tricks and silly scares. The ability is Aftermath, so after it faints, it explodes and hurts the attacker, with the hidden abilities being Sticky Hold and Sweet Veil. It's surprisingly fast on those gangly legs, and Valentino smirks at you. He holds a gem dangling from his wallet chain. Yep, it's Beast Merge time. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with this, since, we already have the Summerween Trickster, so where do you go from there? Luckily, I've got some insight from Turnover Disc, one of our Patreon people hanging out with me in the Discord server. They pointed me towards the good old Gravity Falls water tower, which is often tied to Robbie or Valentino, and then I combined that with a much more recent bit of urban legend, lore, creepypasta fun, being Siren Head. And then, on top of that, there's the whole brainwashing music that Robbie has in the show, and it all just fits together. I started sketching, and it just fell into place. We're letting the candy really rot in this form, giving us the poison type, meaning if you had planned to destroy this dark type specialist with a fighting type, you are suddenly up against a poison fairy type at the very end. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Okay, let's learn all about our Beast Merge Garbodor, the Siren Tower. This once friendly heap of candy explodes, reforms into writhing tendrils, and lifts their trainer into the air. Cones amplify the trainer's negative thoughts and blast poison-type sound attacks at opponents. The sonic waves are so intense that spectators feel their nauseating effects. After unfusing, trainers suffer from a day of vertigo and ringing in their ears. And the ability is something new called Sickly Sound, so poison-type attacks are now treated as sound-based moves, which are able to also hit steel types. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Valentino towers over you, bumping his head on the ceiling. You're glad you were able to heal up your team before this battle, as it's proven to be pretty tough, but you finally knock him out. He separates, you skip over, and take the device component from your forlorn opponent.
Whatever. I don't really want it anyway.
Okay, buddy. All right, let's go get that back to the professor.
You head outside just as 4 figures emerge from the mist. But we'll pick up from there in the next episode. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you are enjoying this series. There's a new puzzle added to the Discord server, so check out the video description for details on how to join all of the journal deciphering fun that we're having in there. A huge thank you to our Patreon supporters, and the biggest shoutouts to Angel and Cyberlord, continuing to be the coolest of kids in the champion tier. Alright, I will catch you in the next one. Later, nerds.